This might get weird.
Wow, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers, Mamrie Hart.
You guys, I said wow because we banked last week's episode and what you're listening to right now at the same time. And we you just dove in. Like, you didn't even dip a toe into the water to see if it was cold. You said, we're fucking rolling.
I said, I'm warmed up. Let's
just
go.
Warmed up. Let's go, guys.
We just talked about everything. We talked about the religion and the Pope and all of it. How fun. This is maybe the most I'll remember of a previous episode. Yeah. Recording another episode. Like, I walk out of this little back house studio and immediately forget literally everything. Yes. 100%.
This is our severance. These dirty French doors are our severance elevator.
100%, because people will be like, I can't believe how often, obviously, we repeat it ourselves and that the other person just goes with it. But I couldn't tell you a thing we say. Maybe broad strokes. Like, I don't remember movies.
Yeah,
so.
No, it's true. And also, here's the thing, is I'm going to say the majority of podcasts have a producer.
Yes.
So if anything, even if you're not remembering, because I said to someone the other day, where was I? I was doing a podcast with Alona Mar and the Mar sisters.
Have you announced
Is it Mar? I'm not sure. Well, guess what? They just got the exclusive.
Oh my
Our
God.
listeners did. Hey, girls. But we did that and we're talking about it. And they were, some of the questions were about having a podcast for so long because they just launched theirs. And I'm being like, you're right. We do have hundreds and hundreds of episodes. And so I'm wondering, like, other people who have podcasts that go that long, do they have producers being like keeping a log of every story so they can be like, oh, are you telling the rubber band story? We've already done it.
Probably.
Let's edit that out. You know what I mean? And we're just flying blind every week.
And somehow people are okay with that and they keep coming back and couldn't appreciate you more.
I have family members who repeat stories and I love them just the same.
Yeah. At least we're not changing the story.
Now that would be an issue.
That's the thing I get nervous about if I just start making up details that I didn't say before. So
no, we are pure. We are pure. Anyway, will you tell them what this one's all about?
A couple weeks ago, inspired by Mamrie going on a radio show that was getting call-in questions and comments, we reached out to you guys and said, would you like to be more included in the podcast? Send us voice notes or emails of questions or comments or ideas you have, and we'll see if we get to. We originally wanted to put it at the end of every episode, but because Mamrie's traveling, we're going to do a whole episode dedicated to it because you guys sent a lot of great and interesting questions, and it's really fun to hear these little voice notes because
I love it.
It makes me feel like I have friends that are just sending me questions.
I know, it's so crazy. And also it means that by the time you're listening to this, my book came out yesterday. So if you have not bought the book, I'm getting in. If you've not bought the book, please go buy the book and I'll see you soon.
There you go. What a threat.
What a threat followed by a delicate bit.
And just for future reference, if you would like to send us a question, comment, concern, etc., email us at tmgwpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure that your voice note is, 30 seconds.
I'm going to say 20.
20. Some of these might be longer than that, but it's interesting enough to keep listening.
Okay.
What a compliment. What a absolutely shady compliment.
Some of them are interesting enough to keep listening.
Interesting enough to keep listening. Okay. I relabeled
I haven't heard these.
She hasn't heard
these out. I'll do it next time.
Okay. Let's just start with this.
Okay.
Hey Divas, longtime listener, first time caller. So when I was in college, I was in this weird situationship with this guy. And one day I was eating Takis and he said, I would do anything for some Takis right now. And I said, anything? And long story short, we went to third base in exchange for some Takis. So my question for you is there a food that you would be willing to go to third base for? Or is that low-key a red flag? Please let me know.
Wow. A red fingertip flag. Okay.
Those
Takis.
Man, I mean,
that's a dangerous.
Did you go to third base before the Takis? I hope so, because you're going to burn.
That's what I'm saying.
Your shit's going to burn.
That's a risky thing to incorporate into foreplay.
But they want to know if it's what we would go to third base for. What food would we go to third base? The first thing that came to mind for me was Korean barbecue.
Do you love it?
I really love it. And I don't, it's not a thing often.
Yeah.
like third base that
Now,
I'm going to.
Are you thinking Korean barbecue or Japanese barbecue?
Korean barbecue.
Specifically. Okay, because we don't have a place.
But also I like going with someone that knows how to order everything.
So you can just lean back and grill them meats.
Like third base. Just lean back and let them do what
Grace says, you see them flaps down there?
See it?
Consider it thinly sliced meat and get to going.
Ew.
Sorry about that. Third base.
Or a red flag. That's the part I didn't fully understand. If going to third base for a meal or a food is a red flag.
Here's what I'll say. They were already a situationship.
Yes.
So do I think giving someone a BJ in an alley for Takis is okay? No. Playfully saying you can only have my Takis if you get on my cockies.
Right. If it's foreplay. If it's consensual foreplay.
So that's fun. However, you got to wash those fingertips because when I worked at City Crab Seafood and Company, we had to refill the Tabascos every night. And let me tell you, I refilled my Tabascos and then I went to the bathroom and then I came out and it was on fire.
Tough situation.
It's a tough situation. So this is basically just saying like what food makes you horny?
Yeah, I guess so. What's like a food that maybe you wouldn't normally get for yourself? Is a special
Korean barbecue.
That's the first thing that came to mind of just like a special thing that if someone is going to take me to it, do it for me.
I mean, then I might go a different kind of get involved Asian fare, and it's probably hibachi.
Yeah, that's great too.
Dinner and a show while you're a hoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did they just mean snack food though?
I don't know. What is Takis? Takis is a little spicy bag of...
They're rolled corn chips.
They're crunchy.
So they're like a tube. It's like a corn chip tube.
Yeah.
And they're spicy and they're so good. And let me tell you,
fuego.
Chip always said like, I don't like a Taki. And then we went to that little speakeasy, that little tiki bar speakeasy.
Yeah.
And they gave us a mix that was like popcorn, something sweet, a couple of Takis in there. And he was like, now what do we got here? And I was like, that's a Taki. You like Takis.
Wow.
You've been Taki shit. And now you love it. First of all, I'm proud of you for
thank you for
holding Takis over his head to get some head.
Thank you for being brave enough to ask that question.
Yes. Finally someone has stepped up and been brave enough to ask that question.
And these are the kind of questions when you're in a situationship that you should ask each other, you know, because that's a great way to figure out if you're on the same page or if, you know, are they going to third base for some French fries? That feels a little like.
But also, don't feel bad about it because he literally said to you, I would do anything for some Takis. He was setting it up. That's a porno sponsored by Takis.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. We're not sure if we do.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. This one is fun.
Okay.
Hi, y'all. Mamrie, I'm seeing you in Chicago really soon. Can't wait. Just in case I don't have a chance to ask you this in person, I was wondering, I have 2 possums in my courtyard. They are not friends. They fight at night sometimes, and I don't really know what to do to stop the violence. As someone who has hand-fed possums blackberries, I feel like you really know how to keep the peace. I've tried feeding them, but I think that's causing more of tension between them because they're maybe thinking only one can be the last one standing and the owner of the courtyard. So what do you recommend to keep a happy relationship with your possums while, you know, being in a predicament where you have 2 that don't like each other? This feels like a bit of like a throuple pet situation. So I feel like you guys can really help me with this. Thank you so much. Bye.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with him.
What a fun and also a little terrifying problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you love possums, even if you hated possums, this would be your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
If you love possums, it's also a nightmare because you want them to get along.
Because I like a possum enough, but if it's fighting with another possum, that's like a double negative. And I'm just like, I'd like the whole thing to leave.
Yeah,
now.
I don't recommend feeding them blackberries. He didn't love it. He literally just silently screamed at me.
But this is tough, right? Because now you're like, what if I give this one a little too much attention and the other one freaks out? Like, what do you, I mean, obviously you should call a professional.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would love to give you advice.
I know.
I would love nothing more than consider myself the possum whisperer. But all I did was admire them from afar, give them a name, exploit them for my own gain on merch and podcast episodes.
Yeah.
And then drunkenly try to give them a berry, which I probably drunkenly Googled if they're allergic to or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good intentions.
I don't know if we can really form a truce between them. All I can say is I hate that they're fighting, but how lucky for you to have two possums choose your home.
They love you so much.
You must be giving out a calming vibe. Ours haven't been back in a while, and I miss them.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they are seasonal. If there's like a time of year.
They are seasonal because, I mean, they die so quick. But they are seasonal, but also, you know, I got the Orkin man.
Yeah. Right.
Whose friends
Who's
listen
a fan
to the podcast.
Shout out.
I got the Orkin. I got a new Orkin guy came by today because they text you to make sure like it's all good. So I got a new Orkin guy today called Marco, and he was following up and he was being like, any questions or comments? And I was like, is he trying to get on the pod?
Who's the last guy that you had? What's his name? Jerry? Because Jerry showed up at my house the other day.
No, it wasn't Jerry. Okay. I'm blanking on his name right now, but I specifically knew this was a new Isaiah. Yeah. It was Isaiah.
Isaiah. Okay.
I don't know family members' names.
Maybe we shouldn't say their names. Who knows?
But Marco was like being so thoroughly kind and efficient that I was like, is he hoping this gets talked about on the pod? And then meanwhile, here we are. But now that we are saying this out loud, I feel like I need to get in the DMs of my Orkin guy and be like, just want to make sure the stuff you're spraying doesn't deter possums.
Oh, yeah.
Because where's my seasonal sweetie?
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's that time of year. You don't want to miss out.
I don't.
And now this person has two and they're fighting. I wish they could just find some common ground.
Yeah, literally. Do we know where they're nesting? Here's where you wish you could have like follow-up questions answered.
Do you dress up like a possum?
Oh, I like where this is going.
Sit out in front of your house. Observe them like you are one of them.
Also, they're quite blind.
Oh, never mind.
No.
Oh, that you could get away with. You don't even have to wear a costume.
You get away with it.
Make the sounds, hunch, I guess.
Freeze. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I'm just really kind of jealous of you. And I'm sorry if it elicits screeching or any jump scares. But here's what I'll say. Rather than trying to mend it, because you're not going to, okay, is I think enjoy this time because it is fleeting.
Yeah. This is like the Bachelorette when there were two Bachelorettes. And was that the one that Caitlin Bristol was on?
It was Caitlin Bristol and another girl.
Yeah. I didn't even watch that season, but that's what I imagine that this is exactly like. Two possums fighting in a courtyard is like the Bachelorette when it had two female contestants.
I did watch most of that season because they didn't even have them the whole season. They had one where there was two the whole season. This one, they had one season and had the guys vote which one they wanted to be.
Oh, God.
Which is real toxic.
Which is awful, people.
Which is really, it was like Britt and Caitlin. And I remember I went to the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas and they were walking the red carpet because their season was about to premiere. And I took a selfie with both of them. And I never mentioned it to Caitlin when we met her.
That's one of those you keep close to the chest.
So good luck. Thank you for the voice note. You know what? I might request an update.
Yeah.
Next time we do this.
Feel free if there are developments in this story. Feel free to send us another email with an update.
We'd love.
Okay, watching TV without ExpressVPN is like trying to travel the world without a passport. You are not going to get very far. And that's because streaming services like Netflix only show you a tiny fraction of their huge global library of content. Netflix hides content from you based on your location, and ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think that you're located. They have servers in over 100 countries, so you can gain access to thousands of new shows and never run out of stuff to watch. And this works with tons of other streaming services too, like Disney Plus, BBC iPlayer, and more. It's super easy to use. I've used VPN to watch programs that I thought weren't available, and especially to watch Eagles games that do not get shown on the West Coast. So it's super easy to use. You just fire up the app, click one button to change locations, and it works on all your devices, phones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs, and more. And it's really fast. You can stream in HD with 0 buffering, and it's rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. And just for reference, some of the titles that are not streaming in the US that you can watch are The Godfather Part 2, obviously Batman the Animated Series, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and Taskmaster, truly one of my favorite shows in the UK. So be smart, stop paying full price for streaming services, and only get access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/TMGW. Don't forget to use my link, expressvpn.com/TMGW, to get an extra 4 months of ExpressVPN for free. I'm sure the #1 thing your mom wants you to give her for Mother's Day is a phone call. And yes, absolutely do that. But why not do that and give her an Aura digital picture frame? Okay, I've said this before and I will say this again. The Aura digital picture frame is the absolute perfect parent gift, okay? You can load it with photos and videos. You can load it remotely from your house to the frame sitting in their house, and they feel connected. Truly. We have given these to my parents, to Elliot's parents, given actually 2 replacement Aura to his parents because it's such a freaking great gift. And also, if you want to get silly, you can always load it up with goofy, funny photos and moments that your family is sure to treasure. It was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides last year. So the next time you need to call your mom, you can also send her a new pic from you from that trip that you're telling her about, all at the same time right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's Aura, A-U-R-A, frames.com. Promo code TMGW. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Are you craving your next action-packed adventure? Well, Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, from electrifying suspense and daring quests to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms. You can unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that will keep you guessing, exclusive, captivating Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute, whether it's heart-pounding suspense like the Audible original Mad Love, a fantasy romance adventure like Onyx Storm, or a listen with the lights on epic like Stephen King's latest Never Flinch. Plus more big releases like Frida McFadden's The Tenant and Amelia Hart's The Sirens. Wow. Audible has over 1 million audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. And if you want what I'm listening to on Audible right now, which is not as thrilling as those titles, I'm listening to Stolen Focus by Johan Hari, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again. So, well, that is pretty maddening, pretty thrilling, if I have to say so. But start listening and discover what's beyond the edge of your seat. New members can try Audible now, free for 30 days, and dive into a world of new thrills. Visit audible.com/TMGW or text TMGW to 500-500. That's audible.com/TMGW or text TMGW to 500-500. Okay, this is an interesting predicament. Oh no.
Hi, Grace and Mamrie, love from Switzerland. I'm reaching out because I want to know how you guys would go about a situation where you're graduating in a couple of months and your father wants to bring his wife and you don't get along with her. You really don't like her. I really don't know what to do, but he paid my tuition. What do I do? She slurs her words even when she's sober. She's so weird. She's kind of funny. But I really don't like her. So what do we do?
Not that she's kind of funny. No, we don't like her. I'm obsessed. All this podcast is doing is making me be like, you guys, let's meet up.
I know. That's what I'm telling you when I was listening to these voice notes. And I was like, these are my cool friends.
These are my friends.
Sending me funny voice notes.
What's going to happen is like 3 weeks from now, someone's going to talk about Switzerland. I'm going to be like, my friend lives in Switzerland.
I know.
Oh, wait, no.
This is when parasocial The parasocial relationships
Flips.
work two ways, just
It
so you
flips.
know.
It's this. It's the episode of Tenacious D where they start stalking their stalker.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but sounds exactly right. So they're graduating in Switzerland. So the stepmom wants to come to Switzerland to see the graduation. Obviously, dad paid for all the education. Yeah. How do you handle that? My first thought is that you just make it so much your day that you don't even register her.
I agree. Well, also, it's just so funny because it's Switzerland, which is notoriously neutral.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing: we can't follow up question. My question would be: does your father know you feel this way about her in general, not specifically the graduation? Is this something you can sidebar with him? Maybe not to say don't have her come, but maybe to be like, hey, you're aware that she can be a bit much, or that I really want this day to be about me.
Yes.
And
fair.
so, because listen, as someone who had a graduation party in college and my sister got very drunk at 2 a.m. and made everyone listen to her sing Bobby McGee a cappella.
Excellent.
Love you, Annie. I know you don't listen to this podcast, but like, I know what it can, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, Jesus Christ. It's not about me anymore.
And also, I think if there's a way for you to tap into that part of you that said, like, she slurs her words when she's sober. Actually, she's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like that part, because we all have people in our lives that like are grating and potentially embarrassing and are hard to be around publicly because you're like, everyone's looking at them or us or whatever. But if you can find the absolute joy in their ridiculousness, like the thing that would otherwise make you crazy is the thing, because it is really funny. Like and it sounds like you find her entertaining in a certain way. That if there's a way for that to be, I don't know.
And also,
it's a lot to ask of you,
right? But also, it's going into it with the mindset of like, well, it's basically like, what is annoying you versus embarrassing you?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck what other people? No one. Everyone has weirder family. Trust me.
Yeah.
But it is if it's bothering you versus if you're worried it's bothering other people. Because you can come to terms with if it's bothering other people. Fuck them. You're graduating. You're never going to see these people again.
Mel Robbins, let them.
Let them. But if it's affecting you, then that is a conversation you should have with your dad. Or would you ever cross that threshold with her?
Right. Yeah. Is there a way to bring up something to her in a... or to like to gently offer some boundaries or something without saying like, I hate that you do this thing. I don't know. I wish I knew more about her generally.
I know. But the way you broke for 1 second and said it's kind of funny makes me think maybe just lean into it a little bit, like, well, fuck this. It's also graduation. I'm not sure if this is your undergrad or what, but just the way you kind of set it up, like my dad paid for it, so he's come. Yeah. This is probably, or it can be, one of the last times you ever have to be in this situation.
Yeah, because there's not like, our parents would come to a lot of things, obviously, in, you know, all of the milestones of like a child's life that parents are obligated to go to. There's not much of that as an adult that your parents are obligated to go to. So this is like the last thing that might happen, unless I don't know what kind of career you end up in.
Right. Career, but also like our parents, we've had parents come to things because we specifically perform. I don't think if you're like, you know, an engineer, your parents are showing up to a thing every 2 years for your work.
No.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So outside of maybe a wedding, which you can do however you want, this might be the last thing you kind of feel obligated to have a parent at, especially because there's like a monetary investment into it. Yeah. So maybe just like try to let it ride. Yeah. And figure out how to have that moment where you broke and said it's kind of funny. Yeah. Be your mindset for the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like temporary situation, right? Because it's just for that weekend. It's for that day. It's for whatever it is.
If they piss you off during it, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. You could still have hard and fast boundaries.
You can also establish a boundary midway through.
Also, what do? You're graduating from school in Switzerland?
Can we come? I want to go get some fondue.
Yeah. Oh my God. 100%.
How fun would that be?
That would be fondue.
Okay, bitch.
Okay. Here. This is, let's see.
I love these.
This is a good one.
Hi, Grace and Mamrie. My name is Monica. I'm proud to say that I'm an OG fan from way back in the day. About a year ago, I got in a car accident. Nothing crazy, but whilst it was happening, I was listening to This Might Get Weird. So while my car was spinning, doing a 360 in the intersection, Mamrie's voice was filling the air. It was honestly rather, pleasant to be listening to during that time. So my question for you is, what podcast would you like to be listening to during what, could be your final moments? Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything you do.
I wish I knew what I was saying.
Thank you for continuing to listen to the podcast, because that could have become a very big trigger for you.
Absolutely.
Based on that experience.
Wow.
I wish it was just you talking about the shit in your pants at the Black Lives Matter protest.
Oh my God. If it's just me talking about and I started shitting. That is incredible. I'm so glad you're okay.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, and yes, same. I'm glad we aren't a specific thing written down in PTSD and that you can listen to this right now. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Never really thought about what sort of content would I want to be enjoying when a traumatic event, potentially my last traumatic event, happens.
Specifically like a podcast. So here's the deal. I listen to very few podcasts.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing 360s about to crash into something,
yeah,
I'm probably listening to Psychobabble.
Yeah.
I'm probably listening to those schools.
That's very fair. I know. Podcast wise, I'm usually,
or camp counselors.
Camp counselors.
Yeah.
Which I have to listen to them. I just have gotten into a rhythm of audiobooks versus podcasts in my car right now.
You guys, she's so smart.
Guys, I'm trying to learn how to be mindful. It is not clicking all the way, but we're trying. So I don't know what podcast I was listening to the telepathy tapes. That's maybe the last podcast that I actually listened to all the way through. That would be a freaky one to go off while I got in a car accident. But some, honestly, for me, you know what it would be? I'd be listening to some dumbass Imagine Dragons song on repeat, having a genuine good private time in my car. And that's when I would get hit and it would play loudly for everyone to hear. And I'd have to be like, God damn it.
Yeah. Why is that playing right now? Every single time we've referenced Imagine Dragons in life, Chip goes, Grace loves them.
I like them because I like the genre of music that they make.
Uplifting.
Yeah, but I've also honestly...
You like treadmill music.
Exactly that. I like epic, you could cut a movie trailer to this.
You should release... oh, God.
Here comes Larry. Speaking of producers...
Why'd you let Larry out?
And he's wearing a turtleneck and he looks like a producer. This is why our podcast...
He either escaped and he's just standing.
He can't push the door open.
He can't push that open.
Freaking out. It'll be okay, Larry.
So this is the podcast where I just tell Jacqueline stories. But this made me laugh so badly because I know exactly the moment in time this was. She was like, I was going home. I got in a car wreck and my car is over a ledge type of thing.
Oh my God.
And she had the Moby CD, that album Moby released. Yeah. And it because of the way she crashed, it kept repeating. And it was that one song that was and it just kept going. And she was like, for an hour, it was just playing.
That's pure anxiety.
She was just like,
oh, iconic. Absolutely iconic. Okay, let's see. What do we have next? We have, we'll go with this one. Here we go.
Hi, Grace and Mamrie. This is Alex from Salem, Oregon. If you hear any background noise, that's because I'm currently in a tractor. But I also am a teacher, and my question as my icebreaker for my students is, what is something you have never and probably will never see?
Wow. On a tractor? With then no more details.
I just enough context to pique my interest. Give me nothing.
She didn't say, and as a farmer.
No.
This is my icebreaker.
She's a teacher.
On a tractor. I'm fascinated by you. Let's just get that out of the freaking gate.
A lot of follow-up questions there. So what have you never seen and probably will never see?
A rat giving birth. I don't know.
Is this supposed to be like, so what is something you hope you never see?
That's how I went into it. Because
Is this something like you really think in your life, I'll never see? Is it supposed
Like
to be
a
like
ghost?
a female president? Or
Oh.
like that's, you're right.
I fucked this up. Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
Is as far as like places I'll never see or like just animals or like things like that, I would say like, oh, I'll see it. Life is long and I like to travel. But what you're coming from it like oh God, no one will ever get on board for it kind of thing.
I don't know. That's
I
what
was
I'm
more
not sure where I guess it's wherever you go with it.
Well, in my head, it immediately went negative and went, if a rat was like doing Lamaze in front of me, I'd like rip my eyeballs out.
Now, what if you go to like a movie, like a Ratatouille, and then there's a scene where like a rat gives
You
birth?
think I'd
and you'd be
fucking
like,
still be in my seat?
fair.
For
You
a
would never go see
second?
that movie.
No, I would never see. I don't know why giving birth became the thing either. You'll never see me on Fear Factor. It's been canceled for 15 years.
Yeah.
What is yours?
That I have never seen and
No,
I will never see. Man, I mean, there's so much. What's something I have never seen? I mean, when we were talking about places, I was like Antarctica, but
no.
I don't want to rule that out.
They've started doing influencer trips there.
Right, but do I want to go on an influencer trip to maybe?
Would you with me?
Yeah, 100%.
There we go, bitch.
I mean, Hey USA season 3. Come on. That's what I'm saying.
Season freeze.
We
go to the coldest places in the world.
I will never see myself on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I will never see myself vote Republican.
There you go. Okay. Absolutely. 100%.
Now we're just turning this into things we wouldn't do as opposed to things we will never see.
What will I never see? This is an interesting question.
It is.
But I also feel like there's so many possibilities that it's stumping me right now.
It can be interpreted so many different ways.
And I guess that's the whole charm of it, is that you
Right.
get to see a slice of someone's psychology with how they interpret this thing.
I feel like my immediate rat birth says a lot about me.
It does.
And I don't know if it's positive.
It's what you hope to never see. That seems
Yeah.
like that's the visual that haunts you, that you hope.
Also, okay, here's another thing that's kind of haunting me. Which I feel like leads into that.
Yeah.
I love Love on the Spectrum so much.
Yeah.
But that one scene where Abby was pretending to give birth in a hot tub.
I must have missed that scene. There was some of the episodes where I like fell asleep or like stopped paying
She was
attention.
like, what if I started giving birth right now? And he was like, just breathe. And she was like, ha, ha. And they like role played birth. And it just came at you so fast.
Yeah.
And so the idea of like a rat.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
These are
Abby,
things that are
the
haunting me.
autistic girl, reminded you of a rat.
No, not at all.
I'm joking. I'm
to
joking.
me, she's the Chartreuse of our time.
She
Okay.
is-
She
she's
is
the star of
Taylor's-
that show, and she knows it.
She's Taylor Spectrum. Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
That's what Taylor's going to do her next album.
I mean, she is the milk to my Chardonnay.
She's got a great voice.
She does.
It's really amazing.
Oh my God, did
I
you
wish I could sing.
Do you see Trixie and Katya?
Yes.
Trixie talking about meeting Abby.
Twice. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I
I'm
do
obsessed with
worry
her.
that they're a little too cognizant of their fame. Yeah.
I worry Tanner's being made to do too many TikToks.
Yes. I'm worried about his burnout and his
Yeah.
genuine joy for creating content as a
Also-
fellow content creator.
I'm obsessed with Connor, but quite a bit of merch.
Lots of merch. I mean, maybe this is we doth project too much. Are we not doing enough merch? Are they just better influencers than we are? Probably yes, they are. Actually,
teams.
that is true.
Their teams. I know. We're like,
They have-
they're not doing it right. Oh, they're on the #1 show.
I'm worried about them.
They're on the #1 show on Netflix.
They're meeting Trixie twice.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's do the next question.
Let's
I mean,
see.
I'm just so, I want to ask Chip this. His will be insane.
I can't imagine what Chip would say. It'd be something I
He'd be
could
like-
never
he'd
think
be
of.
like, you throwing your contacts away.
Slam. Drag her, Chip. Drag her. It's safe to say that we are a podcast that supports cooking. You know, Mamrie's got that new cookbook out, go get it. And I love cooking, but one of the most difficult and deterring things from cooking is the meal planning and the meal prepping itself. And that's where Tastemade Plus
comes in. It is your personalized meal planner. It is so easy. You literally sign up, you tell them how many people you're going to be making food for, and you can choose your meal options, whether you want healthy, low carb, keto, high protein, and then it will auto generate all of these recipes for your meals, along with a fully detailed grocery list by aisle. The items are separated by aisle. How incredible is that? And you can easily swap and remove recipes with a tap, and it'll give you a whole slew of additional recipes that you could choose from. It'll auto-generate the grocery list, like I said, based on your meal plan. And then each recipe you can follow along with step-by-step recipe videos. You can use cooking mode so that your screen stays on while you cook. It is so easy. I was just meal prepping with it this morning, and you get things like miso glazed salmon, baked eggs in avocado, porky potatoes, broccoli pesto, quick banana pancakes. Sign me up. So if you are interested, try Tastemade Plus free for 7 days right now at tastemade.com/TMGW. And as a listener, you'll also get 40% off your first year. 40% off your first year. You can cancel anytime, no pressure. Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you earn can be in your hands today with Earnin. Earnin is, I love saying the name if you can't tell. Earnin is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $150 per day with a max of $750 between paydays. You just download the Earnin app and verify your paycheck, then access up to $150 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Whether you need cash for a special night out or a last-minute gift for a loved one, or even, let's say, an unexpected trip to the vet, hopefully not, get your money with Earnin.
Okay, this one's kind of not, I guess it's serious.
Hello, Mamrie and Grace. I am seeking advice today. I am a sex therapist, and because of my line of work, I very frequently get emails and calls from men that aren't actually seeking sex therapy, but instead they just kind of want to jack off to a woman on the phone. But sometimes I get inquiries from men, and they are absolutely wonderful clients, and they're some of my favorite clients. So I'm seeking advice on how I can distinguish between the creepy guys and the really wonderful clients.
Wow.
How to distinguish? I feel like that's more of a question for you as a therapist. But I was going to say, I thought she was asking originally, how does she respond to those men?
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to say, you Photoshop a JD Vance head on a naked woman body and you send that back.
Wow. Okay, we like
Immediate.
this.
Done.
We like this, but this is how to
how
distinguish.
Does she distinguish? Man, thank you for the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you, because that is a lot.
And you must get the grossest sort of escalations of conversations from men that I can't even imagine.
Wow. Here's what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is correct at all.
Yeah.
This could be the worst advice. This could be really scratching a kink for someone.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. How do you turn someone off when it accidentally turns them way on?
Could you Zoom with them your camera off? So you can see what they're looking like when they can't see you.
That's a great
idea. And
idea.
then end call if it ever feels creepy.
Yeah, I think that's a great... Yeah, do you have to be visually seen?
Do you want to be like, oh, yeah, we Zoom. I'll need to see your full body. I keep my camera off, but it just helps me determine...
But does that... does the idea...
turn them on?
That it's just
a voice of God.
Yeah.
Talking to them.
Is there some weird control freaky deaky thing?
There needs to be I don't know.
I feel like there's got to be some code of etiquette for your profession that tells you how to vet those types of clients.
I wish it was one of those things where you had to get letter of recommendation.
That's what I was going to say. The same thing that you had to have 2 references to become is there a reference pipeline that you can use for these people where they have to come to you through, I don't know, have some form of reference?
Like a Hinge?
The idea of having to get a reference to go see a therapist feels immediately like, oh, this is a professional thing.
Right.
I'm not getting a reference so I can go jack off to this girl, talk to me on a Zoom call.
You poor girl.
I know. But it's also like that's a man that's obviously in need of therapy.
Yeah. What you do is you pull out Takis.
Yeah.
See what they'll do for them.
Can you defer them to this stepmom? And maybe she can therapize them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know.
What an interesting industry to work in.
Yeah,
because
truly.
I do think, I bet your profession is booming because I do think that this whole like incel culture that is popping up fucking everywhere in the manosphere is creating a lot of issues around sex, around all of it.
Well, I don't think those incels would ever seek therapy.
No,
however,
clearly.
I think there is something about like the de-radicalization, like of MAGA and things like that, where people are like, oh, maybe I'm being incredibly optimistic that people are seeking help once they're realizing that they drank the Kool-Aid. But like people who are like, oh, if I easily thought this person was Trump was like our leader and whatnot. What is it called when you like come out of a cult?
Yeah, you deconstruct.
Deconstruct. I feel like there's
well, that's religion too, yeah.
But I'm hoping there's like some level of that with like incel culture.
And there's a lot in parallel to people that are very religious because it's repressed so much so that people are addicted to porn and they have a lot of like sexual whatever worlds that need to be kind of talked through with a professional if it gets to a point. So you probably have a lot of, I would assume, religious clients. I don't know. Now I'm just going off on a tangent wondering about your world. You should start a podcast where you talk about
oh my God. I truly don't know how to help you. I sympathize for you.
Exactly. I mean, if you need fun ways to turn, I think that idea of turning the camera off is pretty genius.
And I also think, I don't know if this like goes against some code.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there is a way to, before you have a first meeting with someone, that you send them to, kind of a description that's like, also because of the field I am in, sometimes that is taken advantage of. If at any point I feel uncomfortable or I end this early, like you will still be billed and or like whatever it is.
Full disclosure, just up top, full disclosure, because I don't think you'd have anyone question that you get
weirdos. And so if you said just like, oh, and before we start, just so we know, we have this agreement that like I do get approached by people who are looking to take advantage of the situation for devious reasons. So at any point I can just end this and apologies if I misread it, but I just have to protect my peace.
I think
safety.
And that's what a therapist, I understand from my understanding outside of just sex therapy, the idea of what is it called? Not, I guess it's projection, or when you like you start to have like an idea, like a fantasized relationship with your therapist. Like if what is that?
Codependency?
What is it called when people start to fall in love with their relationship or with their therapist?
Oh, is it? I'm thinking of falling in love with your captor.
Oh. Yeah, that's how my thing auto filled in.
Yeah.
I'll look this up later. Transference. Transference.
I always forget you have a goddamn degree.
Not even in this
master's.
Not even in the psychology, but the transference is like, when people transfer like their frustrations with their mom on, now my therapist has become this maternal figure in my life, or like I don't have a girlfriend now. I feel like that kind of stuff. So you have to be on guard about that regardless. Anyway, now I'm just rambling. Let's get into, I think we have 2 more questions here, if that's cool.
Hey gang, I have to ask you my favorite icebreaker question, and that is, what is your body and blood? So Jesus's is shitty red wine and that nasty little wafer, if you believe in that sort of thing. Mine is a black Americano and a nacho cheese Dorito.
Oh my God.
Girlfriend's is a gas station breakfast sandwich and like water in a 3-day-old plastic water bottle.
Oh my God.
What are yours?
So your type is me. A fucking barely drank water bottle that's just been heating up in the sun for 3 days in your car.
Man, yeah. So
that's a great question.
We might have talked about this on the podcast before. I know I've seen this go around on TikTok a little bit of figuring out what your body and blood is. But so is it supposed to be like the most delicious version, or like the reality of what you think what your body's most made of?
I feel like it's your vice almost.
Okay.
I mean, my blood would be a lemon drop martini.
Yeah, of course it would.
I would also maybe say red wine, but Jesus already cornered that shit.
Yeah.
So I would say a lemon drop martini, less sweet. Give me half a sugar rim.
Yeah.
If we sugar rimmed communion.
That I would go to church.
Can I get a little spicy salt on that, priest? I would say that. And then as far as my body goes.
Damn.
Damn.
I'm trying because I feel like mine would change season to season of my life.
Okay.
The eras of my life. Because like if you asked me this 5 years ago, I'd be like vodka soda, 100%. But now it's more of like literally an espresso, like a latte right now.
Great.
Which I guess is fine.
I mean, I do drink more ounces of coffee a day than I do lemon drop martinis.
Yeah, I was against caffeine. Not against. I was just doing limited caffeine, and now I'm
during
like
chemo.
Yeah, now I'm full in espresso. Oh, and the brown sugar shaken espressos from Starbucks are so fucking good. It's stupid.
You're making those at home though. Too.
Yeah. So now I'm just brown sugar full every morning.
Wow.
I don't know if that's great. Okay, so that would probably be my blood. Now your body.
A brown sugar latte. Mine is a lemon drop martini, less sweet.
Gosh.
Now my body. Here's the thing. I don't know what's going on with me. So full disclosure, I'm on a diet. And by that, I mean, I'm just trying to do portion control slightly.
Good for you.
Not changing my diet at all. Really dropped off at the gym.
You eat well in general because you don't snack, and then like the veggies are a primary like source for you.
I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
When you were talking earlier about chips and stuff. Have you tried Quest chips?
No, I've seen them in the grocery store.
Here's
though.
the thing. They don't taste like Doritos.
Yeah.
But they're close enough, and they have 20 grams of protein per tiny bag.
That's what I need to get into because it's really just the crunch, you know?
You would love them. I'm going to give you a bag before you leave.
I honestly, like you said, your girlfriend's gas station breakfast sandwich?
Yeah.
That it's like, I do feel like my body would be some sort of gas station food. But
which one?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Are we talking a roll into keto? Are we talking a bag of chips?
I'm talking, okay, honestly, we've talked about this on the podcast about chips. The Fritos, the spiral Fritos.
I know.
That's like, I ate that every day for lunch in high school. I had like an M&M cookie, a bag of those Fritos, and like a blue slushie.
The tornadoes.
Like, no wonder I got breast cancer. It's just the diet of champions. But
we're getting sued by Frito-Lay immediately.
Don't worry, RFK would agree with me.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And so those Fritos have like such a chokehold on me, and are so reminiscent of like my childhood that I might say that for the nostalgia of it all. But honestly, I don't know, because I also think fried rice.
Chip loves fried rice. See, when I was talking about, I've been craving. So I've been on like.
Yes, sorry, interrupted.
The lightest diet of all time, which literally just means like don't go in for thirds, essentially. But for some reason, when I try to eat less, I crave Asian food so much. Yeah. And so like any type of like pad see ew, like pho, like any type of Asian noodle right now.
100%.
That's my current body.
Yeah.
That's my current wafer.
Yeah.
I know it changes sometimes, but like I think at any moment I could eat an Asian noodle.
Yeah. That is so correct. Yeah. Like I love drunk noodles, pad see ew, like all of that shit is so delicious. And anytime it's offered, I want it. There's never a time that I'm like, no, thanks.
And here's the thing that transcends. I mean, I know I'm bouncing around from a lot of different cultures of like Chinese food or Thai food or whatnot, but like in general, it's never something I would turn my nose up cold the next day.
Yes.
Sometimes
oh my God, it's better the next day, in my opinion. I think I'm cold leftovers.
Well, yeah. And which is so funny because I'm in the book. It's like, oh, I don't love leftovers. Yeah. And I don't love leftovers unless it's like a cold Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese friggin' noodle. God. Or maybe pizza. But pizza, I will raw dog. Like just, I don't even reheat it.
But see, I'll eat like a spaghetti cold
I know.
The next day.
Well, you and I feel like we have a spaghetti connection.
A cold noodle globally.
Hold on.
I will eat.
I'm calling it right now. If you and I ever start a production company, Cold Noodle Productions.
Cold Noodle Productions.
Cold Noodle Productions.
Cold Noodle. It's
CMP, y'all.
comes out of it's delicious the next day. Okay, last question.
Yeah, last question.
And then okay, here we go. This might be a little broad.
Hi, Grace and Mamrie. I'm getting married in 43 days, and I'm wondering if you have any ideas for finishing touches or fun things I could do at my wedding. It's a small wedding with mostly just friends and family, so yeah, I'm open to your ideas. Something fun and wacky that will make everybody laugh and have a good time.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, congrats. I didn't catch your name. So congrats, bride.
Congratulations in 40 some days, probably
more like 40 or
20.
Yeah.
or something by the time this
by the
airs.
time this comes out, you're not going to have any time to do any of these ideas.
What's a fun for a small group of people? What's the first thing that comes to my mind is like a magician.
Well, here's the deal. I've been researching a lot I don't think he listens to this podcast, but since Chris is doing both of my shows in New York, which will have been the last 2 days by the time you hear this, I've started researching celebrity impersonators because I kind of just want, I don't know if I can afford it. I'm in the hole on this tour, but I want like Liza Minnelli to come in and be like, hello, we've got shots, or like Mr. T, or just someone, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I do feel like bringing in, and I have a couple drag queens in different cities. So I feel like bringing in a surprise performance element is always going to knock people's socks off more than like, I mean, obviously do late night Papa John's, do late night, whatever, you know,
the
whatever
food is always a hit,
whatever your body and what is it? Blood are.
Yeah.
Bring those out, or you're like the first thing you and your partner ate together on a date, something nostalgic. But a performance element.
Yeah.
And Grace sent a magician to my birthday in Palm Springs once.
Not great.
He wasn't great, but the experience overall provided so much guffaw.
I think it brings people together, and not at the, you know, like, not making fun of the performer, obviously, but you're giving, you're supporting local art.
You're a gig.
You're giving a gig to someone that needs it. And also it's just so uniquely special to like that situation in and of itself. And I'm sure someone would love to come perform and it's quick. You can be like, do like, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever it is. You're in and out. It's not a full gig. If I was a gig person, and I got hired to do like a half hour at a wedding, I'd be like, this is awesome.
Ideal. You know what you could also do? And I talked about this when it happened, but we, at Chip's last rap party, they had like the caricature artists where I was like, oh, and then we put them up and every single woman looked the same and you only knew how to do one. However, they had already gotten like a better caricature artist that they had sent photos of the crew to. So when they came, they were like, oh, Denise and blah, blah, blah here. And it like
That's
really
cute.
looked like them. So you could do something in advance that just gets presented.
That's very fun.
That's like pretty cute.
Yeah, I think that's really great.
And, you know, a mashed potato bar.
Oh my God, a mashed potato bar.
Let's be fucking honest. A mashed potato bar.
That mashed potatoes anywhere at the party.
How is that not your body?
That's true too. I know this question's so hard because
tough.
it is like, there's so many great options. But thank God I'm not Jesus and I don't need to make a decision on it.
Jesus. Thank you guys for the questions. That was so much fun. And let us know, like, did you enjoy this kind of format? We know it's different. It's not like we're going to like bring it in all the time, but this was a nice like, oh, hey, I'm going to be crazy in a week from now. So let's get some questions.
The idea is in the future that we answer like one or two at the end of our regular podcast.
Fun.
So please email us tmgwpodcast@gmail.com with your questions.
This is like a nice little kickoff to what will be a smaller segment.
Yeah. And I love getting voice memos from my friends.
Oh my God. My Swiss friend, my sex therapist friend,
and also
my talkie friend.
Sound off obviously in the comments if you have better advice for any of these people, because I felt a little lacking on actual ideas.
Listen, we tried our best and this got weird.
Yep.
This might get weird.